beginning, remake, whatever, and then Up in the Air, where he like won a bajillion awards. Like that is insane. But this news, I don't really know what to make of it. I'm not a big fan of buddy cop comedies, I have to admit. I think when they're done well, they're done really well.
You're not?
As this has the potential to be. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's Sheldon Turner's follow-up to Up in the Air, which was a fantastic screenplay. So, it has potential. Yeah, sure. Why not?
What do you think of Ryan Reynolds and Bradley Cooper being in a movie together? Does that interest you?
That actually might work really well because, like Ryan Reynolds in The Proposal and, like, Bradley Cooper recently in The Hangover kind of display kind of a knack for sort of really dry, sardonic kind of wit and humor. So that they actually could play off of one another really well. So, yeah, this actually does sound pretty promising. Yeah.
If this ever happens, I want Bradley Cooper to be, like, the really nice, meek, kind of humble cop, and I want Ryan Reynolds to be, like, the badass, doesn't follow the rules, like, douchebag cop. I'd really if they did that. That'd be really interesting, actually.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like Ryan Reynolds is kind of a badass, but like he always plays like the straight man. And incidentally, he was actually in the predecessor to the possible sequel we just discussed. He was in the first Wolverine. So like that's so weird that like all of these movie news are like interconnected and stuff.
Yes, it's just fascinating. It's a conspiracy, obviously.
It's the government.
Yay. So, I think we're both, at least, not opposed to a buddy cop comedy with Ryan Reynolds and Bradley Cooper written by Sheldon Turner, the writer of The Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning and Up in the Air. I'm sorry, I just love saying that, like, those two movies together. It's just odd. But anyway, that's all the movie news we thought fit to discuss. Anything else that I forgot, Ryan? I mean...
No, nothing.
Okay, well then, go on and talk about Akira Kurosawa's High and Low, the film you watched this week that you want to discuss.
Yeah, thanks for the not awkward introduction.
See what I did there? Yeah.
But anyway, as he just said, this week I watched Akira Kurosawa's High and Low, and I would like to discuss it. It is a movie about a shoe maker named Gondo, and he's like a big corporate head of like this Japanese shoe company. And if you don't know, the movie is in Japanese. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but nevertheless, he gets a phone call saying your son is kidnapped, and we want you to pay. We want you to pay us 30 million yen. But it turns out that his chauffeur's son is actually kidnapped, and to make this like even more complicated, like he is in the middle of like the biggest business deal of his entire career, which has the potential to like shape his entire future. And in order to pay the ransom, he would have to take the money out of that deal and then fund like the paying the ransom. And so it's really interesting, this movie. It's actually told in two parts, like the whole like kidnapping and like ransom and all that stuff. That's only the first half of the movie. And the second half it completely shifts like perspectives and tone. And then it turns into kind of like a police procedural. And then we don't see like Gondo for like the entire second half of the movie. And it's really interesting. I mean, I don't know why Kurosawa is a thing for like making his movies like into two like sharply different like acts. I mean, he also did it with like Ikiru and stuff, but yeah, I guess he just does like a thing for it. But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I think it is probably one of Akira Kurosawa's, not maybe his best, but I do think that the movie is probably one of his most westernized movies. I mean, he does have a reputation as probably one of the most, like, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but his sensibilities as a director are very Americanized in a way, and I definitely think that this movie kind of highlights that, and I do think it's in a good way. It's kind of like an American, like, thriller done better by the Japanese. That's basically, that's basically, like, the concept of the movie. I think that the movie, it doesn't, it kind of, like, the high and low of the title, it kind of refers to a bunch of things, but primarily in that, like, the main character, Gondo, who is a rich businessman, he represents the high and like, the kidnapper, who, as we learn later in the movie, is, like, a heroin addict. he represents the low, and just it's a bunch of just. Damn it! I completely lost my train of thought.
It's a very blunt title for, like, kind of just saying out loud the themes of the movie.
Yeah, and actually, like, the original Japanese title of the movie was Heaven and Hell. And like, it's only high and low, like in America. So like, it was even more blunt in its original Japanese release.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, high and low, I really, really enjoyed it. Definitely one of Kurosawa's more accessible and, to an extent, I guess, entertaining movies. The ending in particular, like, the last shot of this movie is, like, enormously affecting. Like, it just, like, if only because, like, it's taken, like, such a long, arduous journey to get there. You know, it's a really effective movie. It's on Netflix Watch Instantly, so, you know, check it out and... You know, definitely check it out. I really recommend it and stuff.
Yeah, before I get onto what I've been watching, I would just quickly say, I love this movie. I do actually think it's one of Kurosawa's best. What I really enjoy about it is how it's a very entertaining, kind of well-paced film, but it's a very quiet film at the same time. Like, there are a lot of little character moments that just kind of are very subtle, but really add to the emotional kind of catharsis the movie builds up. And I really enjoy the film as both a thriller and just kind of a character piece.
Yeah, like, there's no shootouts or, like, anything in this movie. Like,
no, definitely not.
Like, the loudest moment in this movie, it like, takes, like, place on board of a train. And that's, like, literally the most noise in this entire movie. There's no, like, explosions or anything. It's just really refreshing. And I think it's a really good movie.
Yes. Well, watch High and Low. And if you've never seen a Kurosawa movie before, you're an idiot, and I hate you. And you need to go, like... crap in a hole and then fall into that hole and then have someone set you on fire in that hole.
Because I'm nicer than Ivan, if you haven't seen a Kurosawa movie, watch Rashomon. Like, it's...
watch Yojimbo to start out.
No, Yojimbo is not, like, that good a place to start out. Rashomon
yes, it is.
Dude, Rashomon highlights, like, way more of his sensibilities as, like, a dramatic director. I mean, actually...
Yes, but Yojimbo is a better intro into, like... I mean, if you're used to watching non-foreign films, then I think Yojimbo is kind of... I do think Rashomon's a better film, but I think that Yojimbo is, like, a better place to start to kind of ease you into his sensibilities as a director, because that's kind of, I think, the most Western of his films. I mean, it is a Western. In fact, Yojimbo is one of my favorite Westerns of all time. It is a Western. It's just a Western in Japan, you know, it's told in Japanese by a Japanese director, but it is a Western. And I think that's, you know, kind of will ease you into, you know, his other films. But that's just me.
Screw what he's saying. Rashomon, Ikiru, Yojimbo, Seven Samurai, Ron. Boom.
No. You're going to want to go Yojimbo and or Sanjuro. Okay. Then Rashomon. Then Seven Samurai. Then Ikiru. Then Ron. Then Kagemusha. Boom. Okay, but anyway, I'm right, he's wrong. Just a hint. But anyway, that's High and Low. Thank you for that, Ryan. Now I'll get on to the two films I'm actually going to be talking about. I'm going to talk about two documentaries that I saw recently, and these documentaries are The Tillman Story and Restrepo. Now, let me just give you some quick background on these two documentaries. Restrepo is a film about a unit of soldiers in Afghanistan deployed to the Korengal Valley, which is kind of, you know, this area has the reputation as being the most dangerous place to be outposted in Afghanistan. Like, there's fire literally every day, and you just have to kind of hide and sit tight every day, just, you know, doing really nothing. So, basically, it's just a bunch of handheld footage taken by these soldiers who are outposted at this Korengal Valley, and the film is basically kind of about the day-to-day boredom and camaraderie these men have to go through. Okay, and The Tillman Story is a much more conventional documentary about the story of this young football player who gave up a NFL contract to serve in the war in the Middle East, and he proceeded to get his head blown off there. And following his death, the government tried to cover up the true, the true reason he died, and the film's kind of about his family's struggle to kind of discover, kind of the secrets behind why he died. And, now, I'm talking about these two documentaries in conjunction because I think these are, like, the perfect two movies to watch together. Even though, I mean, they're both about the war in the Middle East, and even though they're both about kind of very different